I felt compelled to ride across the country, first of all, to fulfill a personal goal since I became a serious cyclist, but for us, made it worthwhile. I'm the father of 2 adopted daughters, and I'm very thankful that their mothers chose life. And 5 years ago now, my own daughter became pregnant and went to CareNet and got an ultrasound and chose life for her son, my grandson Elijah. And all of this comes together in my life and says to me, I've got to do something to promote this cause. The route I took began at the Canadian border just north of Lyndon, Washington, and I rode down through Bellingham and then out to the coast, and from there I was on Highway 1 or Highway 101 all the way down to the Mexican border. My ride was harder than I expected it to be. But the reason I didn't quit is because I knew that I had a lot of supporters who had freely and joyfully donated for 4us.org. That was what kept me going. I would really encourage someone who's thinking about doing a cycling trip to do it for 4us.org, because it just makes it so much more powerful and meaningful to accomplish a goal like raising funds for ultrasound machines.
My name's Juliana and I'm 15, and I raised $4,300 for the Ride for Us. Every year, I send letters to all my relatives and friends that I can think of, and I include an envelope so that they can send the money to me in the mail. And the other thing I do is I go around my whole neighborhood and my church and ask anybody if they wanted to sponsor me. And they are always very generous, and I send them thank you notes at the end to tell them how grateful I am for their support. I'm excited about 4Us because it helps save lives. When you save a life, it changes the whole world. When one life is saved, all of his future descendants are saved also, and all of the people he meets in his life are changed. And that's amazing. And this event is not only inspiring, but it's also very fun. I walk the 4Us event with my brother and sister. Lots and lots of my friends come here every time, but it's really nice to walk with them around Point Defiance. I like Diego because he's really fun, and he's really inspired about wanting to help save moms and babies. He has developed this way that everyone can help save lives in a meaningful way by walking around and running or riding or motorcycling around. It's really fun.
My name is Becky Rutledge, and I'm a champion for us. In 2005, I heard about 4Us. I heard about a family fun bike ride in the park that was just right up my alley. I'd always dreamed of riding the 200-mile Seattle to Portland bike ride, but it was just way out of my reach. I was 100 pounds overweight and didn't have a bike, so it was not really a possibility, but a 5-mile bike ride in the park was exactly what I needed. I decided to raise a little bit of money, but was trying to think of interesting ways, and my husband had some friends that would come over and play poker, or he'd go over there every couple of weeks or so, and thought, you know, I wonder if we could incorporate this somehow or raise some money through this. And so we did, had a poker tournament where part of the money that people paid in went to 4Us, and on the day of the event I was able to take that money to 4Us to donate to them and to their cause. And, it was great. I had a great time that day, but I came home and a couple weeks later got a phone call that I had raised the most money for a female in 2005 and had won a road bike. I like to wear my 4Us gear for 2 reasons. The first is that I earned it, and I'm very proud of that. And I appreciate that I've been able to raise the money and wear these clothes proudly. Second, I really appreciate that it gives me the opportunity to talk to people about what 4Us is about and what it represents and the great work that it does for the local crisis pregnancy centers and the opportunities that it gives them and these women that they wouldn't have otherwise. And all I have to do is wear these clothes and someone sees them and asks me about it, and it opens doors for me to tell them about the great work that 4Us does.
I'm Pastor Matt Edwards of Believers Fellowship, and I'm a champion for us. When I first heard about 4Us, I thought it would be a great way for our congregation just to get out on a nice day in September at Point Defiance Park and do something fun for a great cause. And we have bikers and runners and walkers in our church. But when I finished speaking, a guy in my church came up to me and he said, you know, I feel really passionate about the right to life, and my family has set aside some money, and we've been just thinking about what can we do with this to, how can we bless some pro-life ministry. He said, we want to match dollar for dollar with everything that the rest of the congregation will give. So I got up the next Sunday morning and I said, okay guys, the game has changed. We're still going to go out there and have a great time, and it's still for a great cause, but we have a unique opportunity to do something amazing for the kingdom of God now. There's somebody in our congregation who's willing to match dollar for dollar everything that you've given to go towards the purchasing of an ultrasound machine. And we want to see if our church of 500 people can raise $25,000, and we were able to do it. I was just blown away by the generosity of the church. All it took was one person in the church to say, I feel strongly about this, I'm passionate about this, and I'm willing to sacrifice for it. And people caught that vision, and they gave generously, and they gave sacrificially. And our church of 500 people was able to raise $25,000.